So, um, okay. My sister and my neighbor and her sister, and another neighbor, um, basically all went out to. Okay, I grew up where there's predominantly the Latinas, and specifically Mexicans. There are so much Mexicans that just about every weekend, every Saturday or Friday, there's a quinceañera. You know, they're celebrating their 15th or they say their sweet 16. And I'm not Mexican, but my friends and neighbors are. So I tend to go to a lot of them. Like whenever we're bored, we're just like, oh, I'm bored. What are you doing this weekend? Let's go to a quinceañera. And so back in high school, um, we were bored. We're like, let's just go to the quinceañera. You know, so we just packed up my sister's car, and then we took off. So while at the quinceañera, we see a guy that my friend is talking to, and so like they're talking about dating and whatnot, whatever. That's her boo. And then he's there, and then so we're like, oh, if he's there, we're getting bored. We're like, it's getting late. Let's just ride out. So we left, but he was still there. Him and his brothers, and his friends and his cousins. Like he has a really big family, so it was like a big group of them there. And then so we left, and we're like, hey, let's play a prank on them. So they live way out by the lake. But we took the drive all the way out there, and we're like, oh, let's write something funny. Let's write something funny. So we wrote a note. I'm not sure what it said, but something along the lines of, I'm gonna fight you, or whatever, to her boyfriend. And it was just a joke, and we were trying to act like as if we were another guy. So we just wrote the note and we put it on his windshield, and then we drove off. And then we called him and we're like, hey, where you at? Where you at? Whatever. We went all the way back to where the quinceañera was at, so we could play like as if we're just leaving. And he was like, okay, cool, yeah, okay, we're leaving too. And so they left. So we also left, and they went all the way home. And then we left, and we wanted to see their reaction. So we followed, like we went towards their house. We went to their house, and they were all like grouped around, like a big pile. It was like five of them, just standing outside of the car, just looking at it. And they were like just looking at it, and we were laughing. We thought it was so funny. We were like, oh, yelling out his name, and then passing by, like trying to be discreet, but we were right on the street. So we went around the neighborhood, and on our way coming back, like it's like a one-way road. Um, it's like they knew we were gonna be there, and then they're like, it's like they had a clue it was us because they weren't sure how my sister's car looked, but they thought about it, and they kind of thought it was us. And then so out of nowhere, his brother, my friend's boyfriend's brother, comes walking out into the middle of the road to block the car on our way passing by again. And we're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, her windows are tinted. He was right in front of the car, and he would not back down. And so I was like, oh my gosh, reverse, 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 reverse. And so here goes my sister reversing. We were like, like, that was not a reverse. We were like side to side. You usually reverse like in the movie, go straight back. We went back so slowly, like he could have ran up to the car and caught us. But instead, we turned down a dirt road, and it was like, thank goodness there was a way out, because my friend had been back there before, so she knew there was a way out. But it was like bumpy and like rocky, and it was loud. And then like right in the middle of that, we got a call from them, and it was like, oh, she's like, oh my gosh, should I answer? Should I answer? I was like, just answer. We'll just drive extra slow so we can be kind of quiet and just see what he wants. And so he calls, and she answers, and she's like, oh hey. And he's like, hey, where you at? And she's like, oh, I'm at my house. He's like, oh yeah, you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm sure I'm at my house. He's like, okay, well. She's like, why? What happened? He wouldn't tell us what was going on. But we were trying to be really quiet so it could appear as if no one's around. It's just her at her house. And then so we finally got to the cement road, and we're driving, and it's kind of like in the boondocks. It's near the lake. And then he's like, oh, well, turn on the radio or whatever. She's like, turn on the radio. He's like, yeah, turn on the radio, play some music or whatever. I just want to see something. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell her what to say. I'm like, just tell him no, because, she's like, oh, no, I can't, no, I'm sleeping. And it was late. It was probably around like 10, 11. No, probably even later than that, like 11 or 12. And then, I said, no, I'm sleeping. She has work in the morning. I'm not going to do that, wake her up. So, oh, well, to go in the restroom and turn on the water. So, luckily, I knew that there was going to be a gas station coming up, and sometimes they have like sinks or hoses. Oh my bad, hoses on the outside of them. And I was like, oh, pull up right here, pull up right here, pull up right here. And that was the first gas station, and it was like miles away. We reached it, and so she quickly hopped out the car and turned it on. And he was like, oh, okay, So like, he believed it. So we're like, oh my gosh, that was a close one. So like, we quickly drove home, and then like she went out with the guys for like a whole year, whatever. But they ended up breaking it off. But yet still, we still denied it. Every time they saw us, they were like, that was y'all, wasn't it? That was y'all, wasn't it? They had no proof, but they had an inkling that it was us. And my sister ended up getting a new car right after that. So they weren't sure. They were like, oh, where's that other car that you had? The other car. Wasn't it you? Wasn't it you? Like, but they had no proof. So that was a prank that we used to play. Like, and it was the summer too, so it was really bored. That was like one of the funnest ever, and we just really enjoyed it. We never told them the truth, and it's been like 7 years now. Like, I don't know, it's been a long time, and we just never told them because I don't know. I feel like if we told them, they would have been real pissed, especially since we threatened to beat them up and all that. But that's it. Crazy summer.